The term Amerasian, I think it was coined during the Vietnam War, and it specifically refers to people that are mixed race, Vietnamese and American.
My name is Kevin Min Allen. I was born in South Vietnam, December 5th, 1973.
My name is Annie Sun Clark.
I think it was particularly difficult for Amerasian children, both in their home countries and here in the U.S., because they were really seen as symbolic of a war that was quite unpopular here in the U.S., obviously, but also unwelcome reminders, I think, in Vietnam as well.
And there were many, many children that were born as a result, and in the large majority of the instances, the people didn't get married and come to the United States, and so a lot of these young women were left to raise as a single parent these children. For myself, I have a really different experience as an Amerasian. My parents were married in Vietnam. My brothers were born in Vietnam, but I was born in the United States, and so I just have had a lot more privilege than most Amerasians.
August of 1974, I was adopted by a couple in Springfield, Missouri. A month after I arrived, the couple split, so they had to give me up to a foster home in Colorado.
In Vietnam, one other phrase that is used there is children of the dust, and so people would just kind of spit at them and look kind of down on them. And then the woman, also the mothers, as a result, were also treated pretty poorly.
So Operation Baby Lift was occurred right at the end of the Vietnam War, and there were a lot of children there who were in orphanages. And in Vietnam, a lot of these children who were in orphanages were not necessarily orphans, but children whose parents could not take care of them.
I spent a month in the foster home, and then my current parents, my adoptive parents, adopted me, and I moved to Rochester, New York.
I think for a lot of children it was difficult because they were adopted into families that were not Vietnamese families, or they were not in Asian communities, and so it was very difficult for them to find a clear sense of their identity.
Growing up, it was tough in the sense that I had no sense of any Asian identity whatsoever.
In the 80s, there was an act that allowed Amerasians to come to the United States, and so many Amerasians did wind up coming to the United States.
Their life histories are quite different from mine. Not all the Amerasians are in the U.S. Not all of them could immigrate.
Because they didn't have education and they weren't English proficient either, as a result, in the United States they've had pretty challenging lives, and usually they're even marginalized here by the Vietnamese community.
It seems like there is more and more children who were part of Operation Baby Lift who are telling their stories. So writing articles or having blogs.
Some people say, oh, mixed race people, because of Barack Obama or whatever, everyone's going to be mixed someday, and there is this kind of exotification and glamorization of mixed race people. So I think it's good for people to hear that the reality of, at least for Amerasians, most Amerasians in the United States and in Vietnam, that in fact it hasn't been this glamorous lifestyle where they're all supermodels, and that they have faced a lot of challenges.